Was Nesta tricked into marrying Rita? We are continuing today from Cedella Marley, Bob Marley's mother's book. Shout out to everybody who has just joined us in this journey. We are reading from the words that were left on record in a book intended for us to read. So, with that said, let's recap a little bit. If you haven't watched the other episodes, feel free to do so. But Nesta, basically, Bob Marley, he just recently married, but this is his mother's account of him and the relationship that he had with Rita. Nesta's life story is closely tied up with his marriage to Rita Marley. Once they were young lovers who sang and toured together. Once they suffered want together as they struggled for material goods of life. They sang songs and had children, Rita bearing a daughter, Cedella, and two sons, Ziggy and Steve, for Nesta. They were shot together in the assassination attempt in 1976. As I look back at their life, they seem to me to have been happier during the early years of hardship than they were during the latter years of riches and fame. Throughout this, I'm going to keep saying, I'm mad at so, because I don't know if people are actually watching. Not all. Shout out to those who are watching, but making assumptions, okay, that it's me. It's not me. Is his mother saying that? And this is the same mother who told him that you don't have to marry because she's pregnant. That's what she's telling us, right? So let's continue. In the end, their days would be marked by bitterness and strife. I know me, I say so. But I can say without a doubt that of all, I'm going to say all, the women in Nesta's life, his strongest and most abiding love, down to the last breath he drew on this earth, was for Rita Marley. Let's continue here. Nesta was now a grown man with a wife and his own family. Rita bore him a daughter, his firstborn child, and the infant was called Cedella after me. Pause. I have to make a correction from last video. And shout out to a subscriber who brought it to my attention that Sharon, her first daughter, was born in November of 64. That would make her 1 year and 3 months, as opposed to almost a year that Rita gave us in the last installment. And so that would make their relationship about 10 months versus 7 months. And I had to bring that point of correction because no, I don't know it all. And I'm not out here trying to misinform anyone. Okay. So let the record show. Let's continue. Shortly after, Nesta left Delaware. I myself had a son for Mr. Booker, and we christened our child Richard. During those days, Nesta and I kept in touch through Rita's letter writing. So again, his mother says it was Rita who took over the letter writing because they were saying Nesta's letters were short and Rita would go into detail, right? It says here, which fed me a constant diet of news about the family in Jamaica. Remember, Nesta's mother left. And Nesta just had, not Nesta, Rita just has her aunt. So she's looking for some type of acceptance, some type of mother figure. And so she finds this as an outlet to be able to write and correspond with his mother. Even though Nesta was gradually making a name for himself throughout the Caribbean as a songwriter and performer, I gathered that his music was still nothing more than a hand-to-mouth existence. In fact, it was only after Nesta had signed with Chris Blackwell and Island Records that he would become an international star. This is his mother sharing her thoughts. So Rita goes into that in her book that they were struggling. It was struggle love, okay? But we're going to read that another day. However, things between Nesta and Rita were not running smoothly. Open war had not yet breaking out. This time mother says so, So she's getting Rita's side, she's getting Bob's side, and she's getting what she's seen, okay? But serious and regular battling was raging. One love, one heart. Let's get together. Okay. I caught background rumblings in Rita's letters in which she would complain about Nesta's neglectfulness and the many hours he spent away reasoning with the brethren day and night when she felt him should have been at home with him wife and daughter. Sometimes she would write bitterly about a particular incident. Often she would complain about always being left alone. This would be before the tacky situation, I'm supposing, right? This is early on. Sedella is their first daughter together. So I have all their birth dates written down over there to kind of get the timeline. But Sedella is after he comes back from Delaware, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's 68, if I'm not mistaken. Or 67. You guys let me know in the comment section below. Keep up on my toes. Keep up on my toes. It says here, there is an old Jamaican saying, puss don't business in a dog fight, meaning that some situations you don't belong in and should stay out of. Nestor was my son, but he was also a grown man who had to manage his woman in his own way. And some people's like, where you in other people and business for? Where you are read it for? Can they write it in a one book and they ask if we read it? They wanted us to know. She says, plus, with me being in Delaware and Nestor being in Jamaica, there wasn't much I could do to settle the differences with Rita. But things between them went from bad to worse. And soon, Rita wrote and asked if I could come to Jamaica and try to restore peace. Then just married, you know? Then just married. Then the honeymoon did all night long love making, gone through the window. In my reason with man and yeah, I and philosophy and yeah, because when the sun and the moon rise together and it shine. Reasoning sessions. It says, but things between them went from bad to worse, and soon Rita wrote and asked if I could come to Jamaica and try to restore peace. It was the peace concert before the peace concert. Stop the fussing and the fighting, brother. Rita said it was Nesta's idea. Later, Nesta would claim that it was Rita. And my idea, if your idea, she asked to come, mama. Me never know where she asked to come. Me no want none of this. We're done with this. However, both said that they thought it would be nice if I saw my namesake granddaughter, Sedella. I said yes, I would come. And a few weeks later, I went. She says, I landed in Kingston late at night, weary from traveling with two small children. Pearl, who was only years old, which is the half sister shared between Bunny Wailer and Bob Marley, and my newborn Richard. Nesta and Rita met me at the airport, and I laid eyes on Nesta's wife for the first time, face to face. At the airport terminal, she ran up to hug and greet me, saying sweetly, "Hi, Mom." And I felt like I met her somewhere, sometime before. Standing before me was a slim, pretty young girl whose smile showed beautiful teeth and whose hair was tied up under a tam rasta hat, right? A crochet hat usually. Since that first meeting, Mom is what Rita has always called me. Remember, the question is, who tricked Bob? So you said, we are read all of this for. We not get there yet. Patience, Danielson. Patience. We're going to see now. Nesta was a little standoffish. Oh, sure. I don't know where all of this stuff. My man come at airport about talking. Because he was so well known throughout Jamaica that whenever he went, people would be gawking at him. And he was always conscious and shy about people staring at him in public. How am I? But he gave me a big hug too, and we bundled into his car and had a warm reunion in private. All right, she tell me where she stayed. May I skip that part? She tell me where she stayed and Ray and Tay, and shout out to everybody who bought her book. Because, I think this book is out of print. So, but that's for another day. It goes and says, that visit to Jamaica was the first time I saw for myself the run-ins between Rita and Nesta. From this visit, it was obvious to me that the relationship between them was under pressure. Under pressure, me say under pressure. Over the passing years, it would have its ups and downs, getting worse rather than better. So according to the mother, the honeymoon, when we did talk about a few videos ago, was the phase that was the most peaceful or the most loving for them. After that, everywhere is war. Dun, 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 dun. What? Okay, sorry. All of the many reasons why their life together never ran smoothly, some of which came out on the first visit, basically boiled down to one point. You all ready for this? The apologies for telling me to apologize when me know why me name the video when me name the video. Because I'm not here to slander anybody. I'm only here to share so that we can have some information to correct certain narratives, right? Nesta, this is Cedella Booker Malcolm Marley saying of her own son, don't argue with me. Say, when Nesta say, no, where she said Nesta say, Nesta never wanted to marry. And she didn't put marry, she put married. Nesta never wanted to marry. So according to his mother, after she said all of those lovely things that the enduring relationship was with Rita, according to she, Nesta never wanted to marry. Furthermore, the idea that he was a married man stuck in his craw, especially since Nesta felt that he had been forced into marriage by coxswain dad and trickery. The name of the first video is Who Forced Bob Marley to Marry Rita? The name of this video is going to be Who Was Nesta Forced or Tricked into Marrying Rita? Something to that effect. I'm getting it from what I read. You can read it too. It says, I saw this then. I would hear it out of his own mouth. So I am mother, first hand witness. I said, where she here with her one ears. May she rest wherever she is. Okay? She has said she here with her one ears. Say, I saw this then. I would hear it out of his own mouth, sometimes with venom. This is before the Taki situation. This is only Cedella Bond, Ziggy no Bond, Stephen no Bond. This is very, very early on. As a matter of fact, let me get the dates. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a break and we're going to take a little commercial break and we're going to come back, see the dates and see what she said she heard with her one ears and her one eye she see. All right. Real quick, this is Amuna, author and storyteller, and I have a new release available on Amazon because I love writing and reading stories. This is a Caribbean American tale about love and culture. We have a young girl named Jackie, and she gets into it with a lot of frenemies and some other people that's trying to take away our rights. So go ahead and check out Island Twist, available on Amazon today. Now let's get back to the story. Okay, so Cedella Marley is born August 23rd, 1967. They got married February 10th, 1966. Less than a year later, everywhere is war. Dun, 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 dun. According to his mother. Okay, according to his mother. It says here, I'll say it again. Nesta never wanted to be married. The idea that he was a married man stuck in his craw, especially since Nesta felt that he had been forced into marriage by coxswain dad and trickery. Force and trickery. This is what his mother said. I saw this then. I would hear it out of his own mouth later, sometimes with venom. One time, for example, when Nesta was visiting me in Delaware, he came into my drawing room and saw some wedding pictures of him and Rita on display in a frame on the mantelpiece. Eh, he said gruffly. Now put them things there up here for man to see. He took down the frame, opened it, removed the wedding pictures, tore them into pieces and threw them in the trash. Extreme. Took down the frame, scanner, take down the frame, take out the picture and tear it up and dash away. I can't do it, mother. Why you do that? I asked him. Is you married? Sorry. Let me do it again. Why you do that? I asked him. Is your married picture in kissing teeth? Married? he says scornfully. Married what? I've heard this a link. Married what? Married who? Who married? I didn't understand this attitude at first, certainly not on this visit. Later, I found out what Nestor was thinking and why he felt resentment over being married. One day, years later, Nestor and I were talking about his relationship with Rita and their ups and downs. Nestor suddenly looked suspicious and confused. Mama, I truly don't know, Mama. If me tell you some things, man, tell you, your head spin. That's me ad-libbing, you guys. That part is not in the book. It says, Mama, he blurted out. I'm sorry. Let me. Mama, he blurted out. That's him brooding before he goes into it. Oh, that's how should I tell Mama? Mama, he blurted out. I don't even know how it happened that me married. I tell you, me don't know how it happened, man. How could you not know how it happened? The whole story came pouring out of him. He said that the day he supposedly got married, an old woman from the district of Greenwich Farm suddenly came up to him in the yard, took his hand and kissed the back of it. Me not laugh, yeah. Come, me not laugh. Later he found out that the woman was a mother, an Obia woman who practices Jamaican voodoo. He said that after the mother had kissed him hand, something strange happened. For the next thing he knew, people were telling him that him didn't marry to Rita. But question. I'm going to hold my question. After Nestor had told me the story, I said to him, Nestor, listen to me. If this marriage between you and Rita is something them do to make happen, it's not going to work out. It's going to sunder. For what is not planted by God's hand is going to surely root up. However, it would only be years later that I understood fully how Nestor felt about his marriage. At that point, I didn't know about the mother, and therefore his bitter remarks about supposedly being married made no sense. She gave many instances, and I'm giving you all of them. This video is going to run a little bit long because I'm not understanding some of how we get to some of these conclusions that these people are saying. His own mother is saying. We weren't there. We can take what she's saying and take it from there, right? It says here, on this trip, I witnessed an argument between Nestor and Rita in which he made a scornful remark that I didn't understand then, but would become clear when he told me about the mother. I don't know what sparked that particular argument, but I remember hearing Nestor scoff contemptuously as he stood in the doorway glaring at Rita. Married? You think me could have married and my mother no know? I interrupted. Well, whether me know or don't know, the two I want to married. And it done. Nobody quarrel over this. It was one of the many fusses that I witnessed between them and tried my best to sort out, usually with only temporary success. Sometimes Rita would cry and run out the room. Nestor would glower and look furious. But usually when I came to where I heard them raging with one another, the argument would sputter to a stop, leaving both of them seething. Again, the name of this video has to do with whether or not Bob was tricked. According to Rita's assertion, Bob was not tricked. He went and he bought a ring. He went and got a suit. According to Bob, he felt tricked by or pressured, or I don't want to even use the word forced by Cox and Dad, and that he never really was married. And I'm going to now put here Bob Marley in his own words when asked if he's married.
You know,
are you married?
Never.
Yeah. But you have the
Rita Marley.
Yes.
Well, Rita Marley is Rita Marley. She sing with the name Rita Marley.
I see. She's not. I see. She's not your common law wife or wife by deed.
Some man have babies to me too. You know what I mean?
Does she have your name legally by law? Not that you're too married.
No, just a thing. You know?
How many children?